I might have to practice.
It took me a long time to get this. Because I had to sign into all this stuff beforehand and make sure it all works. And then you have to got it live streamed. Good. Now we are live streaming, Shannon.
Okay.
So we are recording and live streaming. So if you it looks like we have most everybody here, and we do, you can then do roll call.
Okay, so we're opening meeting at 7:04. 7:04. Okay.
7:04 p.m. And then do roll call. Now, when you have you see on your
I got it right
agenda.
Here.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to start taking roll call, and I'm here. Shannon Hartman, Colby.
I'm here.
Okay, Robin.
I'm here.
Do I need to say first and last name?
No.
Okay. Tess.
Here.
Okay, Kevin Dees.
We don't see Kevin yet.
Okay.
So let's go back to him later, or put excuse for now.
Lee.
Lee is here.
But
Lee, can you speak up? Just say yes. He's here.
Okay, we see you, Lee.
Well, Lee, can you say something?
Can you read me?
Great.
Okay.
He's here. He says affirmative.
Affirmative.
Okay.
You read me?
Yes.
Okay.
And Ron.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, and Sean.
Present.
Okay.
You have one excused. That's
One excuse.
Is Kevin Dees. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order.
Mm-hmm.
Took the attendance.
Yes. And now you go to minutes.
Okay. So we have improperly received. We haven't properly received our minutes. So we're going to postpone going over them and.
Well, what I believe happened is I think the July 5th minutes were posted on the September 12th minutes on the website. So it looks like we'll have to vote on these minutes at the next meeting.
Okay. So we're going to.
So now we're going to go right into public comment.
Okay.
So what you do now, Shannon, is you get your phone out. And first you ask for public comment. So please raise your hand. Stakeholders, please raise your hand if you have a comment. And we have 2 minutes per stakeholder public comment.
Oh, so that's what you do.
Yeah, I do the timer here. So set my timer. This is the time to raise your hands.
Is there anybody here?
For those who are calling in, I think you let them know to press *9.
Yes. It's *9 to raise your hand if you're just calling in on a regular on a phone and not on Zoom. So give it a few moments, and I don't see anyone who's raised their hand. So we're going to move forward. There'll be other times for public comment during the meeting if somebody wants to raise their hand. Now we're going to go into committee member news and announcements and neighborhood reports. We're going to go into Officer Delbar. What we do is we always try to have Officer Delbar come in as early as possible because he's so busy. We want to get him done with the meeting as soon as possible.
Oh, you got it.
So Officer Delbar, we'd love to hear from you.
Hey everyone, how's everyone doing?
Good.
Very well, very well.
All right, so I'm gonna jump into some quick statistics for you guys, and this is obviously year to date. Our rapes are down 7.7%. Our robberies are up 5%. Our aggravated assaults are up about 1%. Our burglaries are up 16%. And our grand theft autos are up 14%. Our burglary from motor vehicles are down 20%. And I've been seeing this over and over again every time. So that is a huge positive. However, our thefts are up 6%. So which brings me to my next point of our catalytic converters. Our recent approximation, we found that about 15 catalytic converter thefts are occurring in my area. 36 total in our division, but 15 total in my area in the month of September. So that's a little frightening. The only thing I want to say about those is there are ways to slow them down and possibly deter them by putting locking mechanisms or metal sheets underneath your car to have those installed. But to be honest, if they want to steal it and they want to take the time to, they'll take the time. But what we found is that when people have some of these deterrent methods, they go to the next car because they don't want to deal with that trouble of dealing with going through a cable or a piece of metal to get your catalytic converter. Again, the ones that are the most sought after are the Toyota Priuses. Those seem to be the ones that are sought after immensely. Other than that, that's really the main thing I wanted to touch on was that. If you have any questions or if you have any time for me, Colby, I'd be happy to answer a few.
Okay, good. Now, Shannon, what you see, I saw Lee Jameson's hand go up first. So it's first comes, first served from the board, and then we'll go to stakeholder comments after that.
Okay.
So Lee,
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I have a question. Is there more
Yes.
crime in the high density area where there's more people jammed up like apartments, high density, high rises? Is that creating more crime because people are packed in like rats like New York?
So generally the clusters we see are very close to like the Red Line and Lancashire. And there do tend to be a lot of apartment buildings in that area with a lot of people in that area. But the Red Line also is a huge cluster that happens around there.
Roger. So it's a lot of development and the red line. All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
I'm gonna mute you. You got a feedback there. Okay, and then I saw Tess go up after that.
Hi,
Hey, Tess.
Curtis, thank you so much for coming to our meeting a couple weeks ago. And I made sure that Chief Moore got a copy of the Studio City Neighborhood Council's letter of appreciation and included you in that. And regarding the catalytic converters, I know there was a possibility of another catalytic converter etching event planned. Has that been scheduled? Is that coming up in the near future? And then bonus question, status of the lingering encampment on Riverside Drive, especially following the burglary that was reported this morning. Thank you.
All right, so catalytic converter etching, yes, we are actually trying to come up with a hard date for that. We don't have one yet. Hopefully it's in the foreseeable future or the recent future for that. As for the cleanups and outreach, of course, I have spoken with the Council District 2 regarding that, and supposedly they are trying their best to get those cleanups and outreach to follow with them to help these people out, especially the ones on Riverside.
So, all right. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Ron now. Hi, Ron.
Hi, Curtis. A friend of mine who lives in Toluca Lake said that recently, I guess on Nextdoor or whatever, they see video of some young guy who's been going up trying to check doors to see if they're open. Obviously attempting burglary, it appears. And he says he's recognized the guy because the guy's not too smart. He puts a bandana over his face after he's already been caught on camera. And he's seen him around town, and he asked me, well, what do I do in a case like that? If I see him, what do I do? My question is to you, what does he do?
So if that should happen during the incident, obviously that's an 911 call if he's trying to burglarize the house. Now, if you should see him around town and you recognize him from a prior call, what you would need is to complete a report for an attempt burglary from the prior incident to link him to that. If there's no report completed, it's very tough to do much with that individual.
Gotcha. So what we need is an attempted burglary report, and then when he's seeing, link him. Would he then call 911, or what would he do? Seeing this guy on the street.
So what you could do is you could call 911 if you have able to identify that suspect. And then it's going to be up to the responding officers and detectives as far as what they want to do with that as far as pursuing it. But as far as you did your job as far as identifying him and letting us know where he is.
All right, thanks.
And then I had a quick thing for Tess. Also, I am aware of that burglary on Riverside.
Mm-hmm.
I researched it. I talked about it today, and I met with the officers that actually took that report.
Oh, good. Thank you. And regarding Ron Babini's question, would it be helpful for his friend to file that report now and with a photo, if assuming Ron, your friend, has this guy captured on camera, would that be helpful?
Photos are always helpful,
Okay.
especially, and then there are ways you can submit those photos online too, so that
Excellent.
the detectives have access to that photo.
Ron, you should do that. And Curtis, what was the name of the officer who handled the burglary, responded to the burglary today? Do you know?
It was Officer Gutierrez.
Thank you. Okay.
Nick Gutierrez, my friend?
No, it's not. No,
No, he's not your friend. No.
different one.
By the way, Shannon, since we're talking,
Yeah.
this person is a frequent customer of yours. He's the magician. I don't want to mention his name.
The burglar?
No. Don't mention names. The
Oh.
magician.
He's the one who got
Wears a cap.
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
He's the one. If you happen to see him and I don't see him, mention what Officer Delbar just said, because he's the one who brought
I
it
plan
up.
on, a minute ago. So yes, I'll see him tomorrow.
Great.
I have a question for Officer Delbar. So who's buying the catalytic converters? Shouldn't they be going after them, the people who are like aiding in the theft of it?
In theory, there's a couple methods that they do. Some people will sell them. Some people will melt them down for the precious metals in them. And the hard part is finding out where they go after they're stolen. Who knows? Are they going to a warehouse? If it's in North Hollywood, if it's in a different division, if it's in a different state, different country, it's tough to tell. So it depends. Some people resell them for other catalytic converters that are stolen and just put on a stolen one on yours, or they melt them down for the precious metals.
Okay, thank you.
And Robin?
Curtis, I have a question. I was just in the shopping center where, what is it? Zanku and Baja Fresh. And I was pulling out of the shopping center and looked down the cul-de-sac where the old Barris car place was. I think there might even be a deli in there. And there's a horrible encampment in that cul-de-sac that I had never seen before. And I'm wondering if that was the same situation when they had that incident several weeks ago where there were a bunch of police cars. Maybe there was a shooting or a knife situation, but I've never seen that encampment before and it's pretty bad. Have you guys seen that on Riverton?
Yeah, so that encampment's been there for quite some time. That is completely unrelated to the incident you're speaking about, a completely unrelated issue. Unfortunately, that cul-de-sac seems to be a location where some encampments do accrue because they don't really go, it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And there's been a few throughout the years that I've tried outreach and other measures to try and stop that from happening. But yes, we are working on that encampment, and I am working with that individual personally to try and get him outreach and housing. Actually, I know him.
Is it just one person? Because he's made quite a mess there. So I didn't know if it was a whole encampment or just he's set up a house there.
So for the most part, it's been one person. Recently, another one joined in. But for the most part, it's just one.
Okay.
And Officer Delbar, I have a quick question, maybe suggestion for the catalytic converter issue. You know, if a sticker could be placed in like on the windshield or on the window of a car that has the etching completed, it might dissuade thieves because the thieves probably don't know the catalytic converter is etched until they have removed the catalytic converter, and then it's too late for the car owner.
Yeah, so I did actually said that to our detective in charge of that, and we'll see if that comes to fruition or not. But I absolutely did pitch that about a week and a half ago.
Great, thank you so much. I'm sure they thought of it already. Okay, I don't see any other hands raised. We're going to go to the stakeholders now. I see a stakeholder here, so go to click on that. Joanne, to me, Joanne. So go to actually go to allow to talk.
Okay.
And then lower hand, and then right here. Oh, that's fine. Lower hand. There you go. Hi, Joanne.
Thank you. Hi, how are you?
Fine. How are you?
Good. This is for Slow Delbar. I was having a conversation with somebody about this catalytic converter situation, and he was informing me that a lot of it could be fraud because apparently, like, there are certain rules in California about being able to replace your catalytic converter, and it's a very expensive prospect because you have to use a certain type of converter. You can't use a certain type. I'm not really sure of all the details, but basically for you, if you need a new converter, it might be like $3,000 or more dollars, where if your converter is stolen, your insurance will cover it, for like a $500 deductible. And so I'm wondering, is that on the police radar that this could be a problem? If private citizens are talking about it, I would just like to know more, what you think about that. And thank you.
Primarily what we've seen is that it's used for melting down and then for redistributing or reselling. We're not too privy to the fraud aspect. It could be a consideration, but from what we found most importantly, or what we found mostly, is that the melting down and the reselling.
Okay.
Great. Thank you, Officer Delbar. I think that's all the questions we have. And again, thank you for all your work and the protection you provide.
Thank you,
so much.
guys. Nice meeting you guys.
Thank you, Officer Delbar.
And next up, we have what?
Well, we have Tiffany but I don't believe, is Tiffany
Yeah,
here?
yeah, Tiffany, I don't think you're here. If you're here,
No,
nope, I don't see
I
her.
don't see her.
I do have something that, I did say something, but talk to Tiffany, just for the lights on Riverside Drive.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd made a report and, I'm gonna encourage everybody to do a report if they see something like that, because they act upon it. There was a 56-day wait to,
Yeah.
work on them, but she got us down to, as of last week, 3 weeks. So I'm guessing it's a little more than 2 weeks that they're gonna come out and take a look at the problem.
I noticed that the other night. It's the whole street is dark.
Yeah.
It's not just one bulb. It's so frustrating.
So 2 to 3 weeks should be worked on and
Shannon,
find out
can
what's
you,
going on.
Shannon, from which intersection to which intersection roughly? Because there's a
Really?
whole.
I'll go look. I'm on Riverside
It's-
Drive right now. It's
wait,
actually the whole.
Yeah, it's Cahuenga to Patty's. And
Okay.
then on one side, and then Cahuenga to, I think like maybe like Trader Joe's on the other side. And I'm trying to think of what side is which. But yeah, it's completely out.
Okay.
So, and somebody Colby's coming back, but we did get the lights back on the median, and the trees are lit, and then the twinkle lights are on. So that's lit. So it's not connected. And it's, I don't know what that means, but just know.
And actually, what's interesting, I just noticed that the lights that are on, kind of
Are
in front of the ones that are on, that are functioning on the south side of the street near the old Honey by Tam, are on, but they're dull.
Oh,
Like they're dim. They're not fully. There's one light that's working fully, and the other ones are dim.
oh, that's interesting.
So there's
Okay.
something going on with the wiring. So
But so, okay, so that's good. So Tiffany has prioritized that. I just got out of a budget advocates meeting and they're rewiring a lot of the lights. So do you have any sense, Shannon, whether the Riverside lights will be repaired or replaced? Do you know?
Well, I think at first she thought it was something where somebody was taking the copper wiring.
Okay,
So they would go and assess it first
all right.
and see what the problem is.
Good work. Thank you.
You got it.
and then we're gonna go to Robin, watch lead for Neighborhood Watch.
Nothing really new to report other than please lock your cars and take everything out of your cars. That still seems to be a big issue, even though Officer Delbar has said it again and again and again. Every time there is a theft of some type in a car, the first question we ask is, was your car locked? And embarrassingly, people always say no. So a lot of the time, the cars are not locked. So just try to remember to lock your car and don't leave your keys in them and take anything out other than maybe a phone charger. Don't leave anything in your car. That's it.
Okay. And then LA DOT, Steve Rostam, is he?
Don't see him.
Okay.
Okay, then we'll
Okay.
move on to, unless any stakeholder questions or comments regarding what we just went over. I always kind of ask for that every time we move
Okay.
to another section, but no hands up. Okay, then let's go to here.
The ongoing business, discussion designation of GTL neighborhood point persons for each Caltrans exit and on-ramp in the greater Toluca Lake area to update and inform Caltrans about need for services, photos, cleanup status, etc.
I think Tessa was heading that.
Good.
Is that you?
Yeah, I noticed, and Robin, I only noticed it this afternoon because I emailed you these documents in the item for posting. And since I saw that you included it on my item on the agenda, for which I thank you, I didn't check to see if the Caltrans map was posted. So that's not on the website. I can certainly share a screen. Sean and Lewis and I have talked about, and I think we even designated a couple of these hotspots for more regular updates and reporting. Is it possible to share my screen, Colby?
Yes.
Okay.
So
So,
what I do is I go here and I just make them a co-host.
Okay.
so let me
Or-
pull this up.
Actually, hold on. Yeah. Let's do that because I'm talking to Shannon. That will give them screen sharing abilities.
Okay.
Okay, Tess, it should work.
All right, let me do a screen share. Let's see if this works.
You can always ask her in the meeting. Someone else will already know.
Okay.
Yay. All right, so can everybody see this?
Yes.
All right, so here we have a hotspot. The hotspots which Jonathan Gregory, well, pointed out an important fact, which is that the off and on ramps are the biggest areas of activity. And Robin, I didn't know about that encampment you just mentioned, and I can't believe I missed that. Louis, were you aware of that encampment that Robin just mentioned opposite the Zanku Chicken?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Alright.
the Barris one. It's that guy that he just moved out of the 500-foot zone on Lancashire. So
Okay.
he's been there since they've enforced that.
Okay. So anyway, a couple of my neighbors, and including myself, Sean Besharati and Louis, have offered to, or agreed to, sort of report on these off and on ramps. And Shannon, I asked you at the last meeting, the on ramp at Pass Avenue, I think, is in Burbank, so that's out of our district. So
Right.
these are the areas. Sean, are you still willing and able to take off ramp, on ramps number 3 and 5 as designated here?
Oh, yeah, is he muted? Oh, you're muted?
He'll unmute himself. You can do that, ask to unmute.
Okay.
Sorry about
I'll try.
that. I just
Okay.
assumed I was unmuted. I apologize. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I could probably do 4 and 5 a little bit easier.
Okay.
Because I could just kind of do a big loop and it'll be
Okay,
easier
good.
for me.
I have a neighbor who walks to work every day. She's a doctor and she works at that medical building. So she was, number 4 would be easy.
No problem. I can do 3 and 5. It's not an issue.
Okay, let me put you for 3 and 5 for now, but if she wants to swap, I'll have her do that. Louis, are you willing and able to handle the one identified number 2, which is very close to you?
Yeah, no, I'm kind of all over that. So yeah,
Okay.
no problem at all.
I'll make sure that my colleague, my neighbor, Frank, can still do number 1. So that leaves number 4, which I think my other neighbor will do. And Ron, are you willing, possibly, and able to report to us on off-ramp, on-ramp number 6? Because that Cahuenga Pass one gets a lot of action.
Well, it's Cahuenga, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but what does it entail? I mean,
Well, that's what we're going to discuss right now. Basically, it takes a lot of effort to get this stuff cleaned up. And if we're paying attention and we notice when things start to get bad again, we can get on it right away, which will make it easier to keep it clean and clear, as opposed to waiting for, more, as opposed to letting the problem get worse before we take action. So essentially, all you would be doing, Ron, is coordinating with me I can be the point person. Steve Ferguson is great. He is the district director for Idrin Nazarian, who is responsible for Caltrans. And Steve is going to connect us with the appropriate person or persons at Caltrans directly. So this will just be, we'll be a little bit more proactive about cleanups and about maintaining the area, about, keeping shrubs trimmed and things like that, because overgrowth is very often used to, for encampments or for storing items and belongings and things like that. And it can very quickly get out of control. So if you're willing and able to do that, just call me, text me, email me, take a photo, something like that. If you're in the area, I'm in that area quite frequently as well. But I thought maybe this was something you could do.
yeah, okay, I'll take that on.
All right, good.
Do you have any suggested days of the week? You think 3 times a week we should check that out?
Yeah, I would say 2 or 3 times a week. We just want to keep an eye on it. When you're driving somewhere and, you just drop me a line or text me and take a photo if you can, that, there's trash clearance needed. We've got a neighborhood cleanup this Saturday. Supervisor Catherine Barger is going to be there. And we're going to be hitting a couple of the areas on Riverside and, areas number 1, 2, and 4. So she'll be able to see that for herself, what we're up against. And
Well, and Tess, I'm hearing that there's a cleanup on the 7th
Okay,
for the encampments
okay,
in that area too. So
Okay.
that might be a double. It might be helpful. There'll be less for Catherine to
well,
clean, but we might want to take some before photos
yeah,
if we're gonna be out there the next day.
yeah, I really want to have before and after photos because I drove by there tonight and it's just mushroomed. It's completely and utterly mushroomed. So, and if anybody else has ideas on how to approach this, I think it's simple. We're communicating among ourselves. We're each assigned to 1 or 2 of these off and on ramps. And then, you know, I can coordinate it to Steve and or to Caltrans, although you can also email him directly. He's extremely responsive. This way we're just being more proactive. That's all.
Hey, Tess, I have
Yeah.
a quick question for you. Because I know that I've in the past have reported on off ramps on the csr.cal.gov,
Yes,
the Caltrans, their website.
that is super
Is it
useful too.
Is that bypassing this? Is that, or would you suggest?
No, I think it would augment it. All right. And I do these, well, I was doing weekly field reports. I've fallen off schedule a little bit, but you know, when people in this community have those, they forward them to me and then I compile them in a field report for all of the respective agencies. But there's nothing precluding or obviating, you know, an individual filing one himself. In fact, that's to be encouraged. They would ask us to do that. But, you know, this is also just it's just sort of an early warning signal. So that's all. Does that make sense?
Yes. Anything else?
That's it for me. So we have our assignments. I'll confirm Eleanor and Frank, and then I'll email you, Louis, Sean, and Ron, and Shannon and Colby and Robin and whoever else might want a copy of this. So that's it.
Great.
Great. Thanks, Tess.
Okay.
Okay. So next on our agenda.
Actually, let me see. Actually, Tess, can you unscreen share?
Oh, sure. Sorry. Okay. There we go.
There we go. Great. Thank you, Tess.
Mhm.
And now the gallery view. I guess controls your view, not the
Okay.
everyone's view.
There's no
Yeah, I don't see. Let me look here.
No. there's
Okay. I don't see any stakeholder hands raised, so we'll move forward with. Go ahead.
Yes. So the next on the agenda, I can put them together because it's just actually what we were talking about. The My LA 311 and the Caltrans website. I like to be able to encourage our community to make, before they come here and talk to us, that they make a report first. Because, for instance, with the Riverside Drive, if nobody makes a report, it has to go through that, and then you take the report number and you send it to Tiffany at Paul Kokorian's office. So I think it's important that we do reports so that we can, and the more that people do it, the more that speak up. But I'm not sure how we go about getting our community to really take that step first, you know, not wait a month for the next meeting. Do you know what I mean?
Well, if I may comment,
Yes.
we have a higher proportion of stuff in our neighborhood to deal with. Walking the dog this morning, I took pictures and filed 5 bulky item removal requests because along Camarillo, there's a lot of apartment buildings, and I guess it's the first of the month, a lot of move in, move out. So what has to happen is, and this is what I tell neighbors, because people will call me and tell me about a problem, and I say, you need to file a report because the city runs on data, and without that, if you don't file it, then the problem doesn't exist as far as they're concerned. And so I really encourage people to do that, and I'll walk them through it. And every, you know, communication that I send out has that, you know, the neighborhood resources where you can file Caltrans 311 online police report or an LA building and safety ordinance violation or code compliance issue. So it's just, you have to tell people, and the way I put it is, if it bothers you enough, then you need to file a report and then send it to me. And if it doesn't bother you that much, then, you know, you can show them how to do it and then teach a man to fish, etc.
Exactly.
Yeah, and just sort of gently help them to help themselves.
That's perfect. Thank you, Tess. Okay. Do we have any new business?
Any new business, please let us know.
Is the meeting adjourned?
Hold on. Yes, Tess?
I do have a comment. We are, although we don't vote on matters of a lot here, we do have a quorum of quorum issue with
Oh,
currently.
we have too many,
Yeah,
we
we
have
have
yeah.
too many board members on this committee. So how are we going to handle that, Colby?
Well, we're gonna actually, Robert and I will probably be stepping down.
Okay,
I was just helping, we're just transitioning
okay,
Shannon. So that would remove 2.
okay.
And then how are we looking after that? I think that takes care of it, because Rob and I were planning on leaving. This could be our last meeting, actually.
Oh, you're not going to come back to public safety?
No.
Okay,
Well,
So that
we're,
would be
we're,
Shannon.
we're here to help Shannon, and when Shannon's got control, then
That's why I'm here with Shannon right now. But so that would leave, actually, it would still be 5 though. I think we'd have Shannon, Tess, 2, Kevin, 3, 4, 5 with Sean. So maybe we'd have to ask someone to step down, maybe Kevin, I don't know.
You're only allowed to have 4?
Yeah.
Oh,
So I have a question,
Yes.
because actually, so this was brought up last meeting, because we were, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, gosh, I can't think of his name. I just completely dropped blank. I apologize. The benefits of
Jonathan Gregory.
Jonathan. Yes, Jonathan wanted to be a part of the board, and then we had this issue. So I kind of went back and looked at all of the participation that we've done since June of last year. And I'm still kind of hashing out, because there's a couple of months where there are no note or past minutes on the website. So I was going to maybe get with Robin on that. But if we have a participation issue, this is something once we just did the standing rule notes, the standing rule that we just had everyone vote on just recently. And to that end, we do have people that have missed quite a few of the meetings, which thereby those standing rules would kind of help enact or help us choose who would need to leave. So I'm still getting those up, and I'll forward it to the entire, I'll just forward it to Shannon. She can just then disseminate it now that she's the committee chair. But I was working on an Excel spreadsheet that will kind of help, because it'll help with this specific situation.
That'd be helpful. That's great.
That would be
If
great.
someone could do that, that's really good.
Yeah. And then Robin, I'll get with you.
It would make the, yes. Yeah, go ahead, Sean.
No, I was gonna say, I can get with Robin, because Robin takes probably some really good notes, and she could probably help me.
Okay.
Okay, great.
As we have a public comment on this one. Hi, Joanne.
Hi, you're just gonna have to make sure that when you do something like that, that you do that for all committees and all members and everything, and not try to do witch hunts. That's just a general reminder. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
And just to that end, I only was working on this because it was specific to the Public Safety Committee. And that's because it was brought up specifically about Jonathan. But I imagine if someone wants to help, we could probably go through all those, and absolutely, that's a great idea.
Okay.
Great. I don't see other comments. So looks like it's time to close the meeting.
Okay, it is 7:35 and meeting is adjourned.
Thanks, guys. Have a
Thank
great
you,
night.
everybody. We'll see you again back in November 7th,
See you November 7th.
7 p.m. Yes,
Yes.
7 p.m. So.
Oh,
Thank you.
wait a minute, Robin and Colby.
Uh-huh.
Especially Robin, you will be coming in as a member of the public, even though you may not be a committee member.
They're
Right.
helpers.
Do you want me
Good.
to come?
Good.
Yes,
You're
yes.
so cute.
We've done.
you
Yeah,
just-
You're not getting rid of us so quickly. We're just trying to navigate all the transitions. So
Got
with
it, got it.
Lewis and with Shannon and all the new changes, we're just trying to make sure everybody's supported. So yes, we still care about the community. We're still here.
Oh, but by the way, so Lewis, you are the new council member?
Yes, he's our new board member and our new secretary.
Yes, that's what I hear.
Rumor has it.
very, very happy to have him.
Welcome aboard, Lewis.
You
Happy
were,
to be there.
you were appointed, I believe, in flight.
I
Yeah,
was.
He was
Yeah.
elected.
So I just got back and I'm over the jet lag. So I'm gonna get together with Robin and get everything I need. So I'll be here to support you.
Great.
Can't
Thank
wait.
you.
And I can't wait
Good
to
night,
hear about
everybody.
your trip.
All right, good night.
Night.
Good night,
Good.
everyone.